Okay, welcome back to the Mobility Project. Want to dedicate this one to all my older leopards out there. You guys know who you are in your 60s who are emailing me the good news. Keep it up. Today we're going to do a really short and sweet one. We're going to just basically focus on this area of your bit, of your hamstrings, insertion, kind of extensor mass into your glutes. What ends up happening is that we concentrate on spreading this. I like to think about the hamstrings and butt as a very thick rubber band. We know in movement that we try to bias that first, load the hamstrings and butt first in kind of range and power, and then retention from the hamstrings down below. Tomorrow we're going to do one about deadlifting. So I want to get prepped for deadlifting today, and part of that is getting unglued here. Remember, we spend a ton of time sitting on our butts, hanging out all the time, making these beautiful ass laminations, particle board of beautiful flesh. What we're going to do today is basically we're going to take the ball, we're going to load it up into that business, and then we're going to go ahead and fold forward, back and forth. So if I load that thing, find a piece of section, right off of the ischial tuberosity there, which is my sit bone, come forward, and then this is the piece. I'm not going to extend from this side. That's terrible. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and find where I'm tight, and then I'm going to stay tight and neutral, pretend like I'm box squatting, pretend like I have one joint, and I'm going to feather back and forth from the other side. And this is terrible. And you'll know, man, whoa, that feels awful. And what I'm going to do is try to get 50 to 75 forward motions per side. 1, 2, oh God, 3. You set a clock on this. Try to get 3 or 4 or 5 minutes per side. Keep hunting around. All we're going to do today is try to unglue this business here. Then we're going to just bring the ball down a little bit, coming obliquely. And what we're going to try to do is unglue the insertion of kind of hamstrings into this IT band. This IT band makes a wall and creates a septum, which is a wall between this anterior compartment and posterior compartment, and creates an important kind of attachment for a lot of this musculature. As the butt comes in here, hamstrings come in here, this interface gets ugly. So I'm going to take the ball for the second half. I'm going to try to come in obliquely on that hamstring. And so it's not just laying into it, it's kind of sneaking on the side, and then I can add my feathering the leg back and forth, find a spot. What I want you to really focus on is seeing if you can really get some movement of those tissues past that tack spot. So we're going to focus on high hamstring, this kind of what we call proximal or high insertion towards the midline, towards the head, and then we're going to really work on unfeathering all the way back. And as a bonus, this comes from one of our professional ballet dancers who figured out that he could take the ball, jam it into the back of his leg here, not on the side, not where there's a vascular bundle and da-da-da the knee, but he just could find, he could really get into that piece of his calf he was having a hard time with. And he was able to do that during school, kind of on the train, and just back and forth, really gave him access to some of those parts of his calf that were really tight. Some of that gastrocnemius head, that lateral gastroc head, which gets snug back here. So he's just placing it back here and pulling. Alright, so what we're going to do is just go to town today on the soft tissues. Tomorrow we're doing a deadlift prep video, alright? We'll see you tomorrow.